This meeting is being recorded. So, a very warm welcome to Abby, who is our third member spotlight taker. And I think we're going in for a very interesting session with Abby. Abby has been with the network a long time in a few different guises, but I don't want to say too much in case you talk about your past that is, pathway to where you are now. So I'm going to hand over to you, Abby, and there'll be a few random questions at the end, as you know you're going to get from Tracy.
I know. I was like, right, I was trying to get in your mind to think what you'd ask.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way I'm going. Right. Oh, God. Okay. If I should, oh, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, thank you.
Okay. So, thought I'd do a presentation.
There we go. Very good.
Yeah. So, that was the nicest picture I could find.
It's nice.
I quite liked. So yeah, so as you said, I'm Abby Smith, and obviously I've been a member of the network for many years. I think I was on adoption leave. Yes, I was on adoption leave when you first started.
That's right.
So yes, so you've been on the journey of our daughter as well. So yes. So a bit about me. I was a member, so I've got over 20 years I worked of sales and marketing experience. And that is originally started in the hospitality sector. Well, actually it started before that in a security company that did sort of, it's very niche market. It was they did I'm going to say they did a lot for the MOD. So if you walked on a piece of grass and it set alarms off because they put the sort of like webbing underneath the grass to set alarms.
Gosh. Right, okay.
It was very niche. And then they used to do the ISDN line. So when you rang 999 and you came to your local call centre, it sent down an ISDN line, and they used to do all that. So yes, so yes. So I started off probably then, back when I was little and younger. And then went into the hospitality industry for 5 years, and then ended up in the charity sector for the last 15 years.
Wow, I hadn't realised it was so long, actually.
Well, yeah, it is. It's probably
so
longer.
How did you come to go into the charity sector? Just tell us a little bit about that.
So I was working for McDonald's hotels at Craxton Ward, and I got to the point of fed up of just bums on seats. For me, it was much more about the customer experience. And I literally just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to leave, and I was either going for an independent hotel or something different, and saw the job at Clare House and thought,
okay.
I fancy that. It's very, I've got quite strong ethics and sort of values fitted within it. And my dad always has taught me from a young age, give a job 6 months. And if you don't like it after 6 months, leave. But you've got to give it 6 months.
Yeah.
So the joke is it's the longest 6 months ever. So yeah, and just the charity sector got me and just stayed with it. Obviously worked for Clare House, and then the Railway Benevolent Fund, and then last the Hospice with the Good Shepherd was we obviously had a pandemic, or we're in the middle of it still, I was put on furlough last year, and found that quite hard because I'm very much about working. I work and work, and I felt very guilty for not working when my colleagues were really, really busy. I sort of suffered with bad confidence and things. And I've got to say, as Tracy, this is it. You asked me to be part of this Action Learning last year, and it was just, I've got to say, it was the best thing ever. You really made us all come out of our comfort zones.
Well, I think Andy Howie had something to do with that as well. But
he did, but I think you sort of how you picked everyone. I think you sort of thought everyone would say yes, no. It was great. Then obviously found out I was being made redundant in October, and it was very much, I was at crossroads. My heart, I think, had come out of the charity sector. I think furlough had taught me that my family was as important, where I've been working a lot of evenings and weekends trying and get the time back, but actually I was missing those weekends and those evenings, and actually I thought enough's enough, but didn't know what I wanted to do. We obviously had some conversations, and I was really fortunate to be able to go self-employed as a sales and marketing, and using my knowledge. And actually, it's the best thing I've done. You know what I mean? I don't think I would have done it any earlier. It fits around our family. It's great. You know, I am not tied to anybody. I can work the hours I want, and it really suits me and my daughter's dancing schedule that I think is just now overtaken our lives. But it means, for example, I'm going to say it's on Friday. I haven't seen my mum for about 2.5 weeks. I was in Chester with a client, with Grosvenor. It was a client of mine, and I went and met my mum for a 2-hour lunch. And so it was really nice just to go, do you know what? Family is as important as working. So, as I said, I've got 20 years of sales and marketing experience. I've managed income generating teams, so I've always been about income. Even I think I go back to when I was about 16, when I worked in Saxon shoe shops. I was the top sales. I taught the new ones that came in, sort of week on week. I was top sales for product. So I think it's just ingrained in me. So I've explained, worked across different sectors. And I think I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned, well, we'll try this. And I'm always learning, and I'm not scared to go, made a mistake, hold my hands up, it hasn't worked, why? But then go, why didn't it work? Why haven't we looked at it? Because a lot of people go, oh, it never worked.
Yeah.
But why? So that's the kind of, I always want to know is why. I always say why to myself. So it could be, for example, it was the wrong time of the year, you was the wrong market. It could be anything, you know. It could. So yes, so that's me. Okay.
Very good.
So we go, what do I do? So I taught most kind of people will now know me as Grosvenor Insurance, which is actually a client of mine. And I offer them full sales and marketing support. I do it as part of their internal, so I'm part of their team. And I really am sort of in the office probably twice a week, understanding what's going on, checking everything. So, for example, yesterday I found out they were sending something out, and I was like, just let's hold that. So it's like, it didn't have a logo on it, it didn't have our contact details on, and they were like, oh right. And it's just saying, you need the basics on anything you send out. You've got to have these basics. So it's just doing that, and then working with the MD on lots of new products and partnerships, and we're just about to launch another product with, so it's really going through all their processes. And I've got a really good knowledge of GDPR, so it's going through there. Well, actually you can't do that, but we can do it this way. So, and one of these is, yes, we'll be compliant, and if we can't do something, I'll always find a way we can do it. So that's kind of, but also the full sales and marketing support is I can do it external, so I can come in, offer, sort of a bit of coaching kind of thing. This is how we would do it, and not be part of the team. Now, the other one of my favorite topics is sales processes. So I think very early on in my sales is that actually sales is a process, and it's about how do you go through it. So it is about the steps. It's about making sure you're prepped. It's making sure that you've got everything in place. You know who you're presenting to. Are you speaking to the right person? So you've got, can they make the decision? If they can't, who do they need to see to? That's the kind of thing. And it's really just usually 6 steps. And then it's going through, then, okay, you've presented, then you negotiate, then you close. But everyone forgets about the follow-up. So for me, is making sure you've got a system in place that you can do this and follow up, because you follow up, keep in contact with that client, that customer, even if you didn't get it. And a lot of people go, I didn't get that. And we're like, well, okay, well, if it's a yearly sort of, so I'm going to talk about Grosvenor, whereas we went and sort of tried to get somebody's insurance, we went yesterday and we found out we haven't got it, but the follow-up is we're keeping contact with them and we're going back in 8 months' time to keep, and people forget that, they just write it off, and I'm like, no, you need to finish it with, can I keep in touch? Can we, sort of be involved? Can we price it again?
And also with something like that, it's maintaining that relationship for the longer term, because in 6 months they may be really unhappy with who they've gone with, and if you're and also you can, it's a good opportunity for lessons learned, and sometimes if people do then go, oh no, it just came down to price, then that's a consideration on, well, do you want a relationship, or do you want to just every year shop around? So
and if it's price, is that person will just swap? So it's very much is what you want. So if you want customers that you're not bothered about keeping, that just want for the year, that's fine. But if you want customers for a long-term basis, do you really want those that shop around every year and will swap and change? And so it's looking at, actually, if you lost it, was it a good reason why you lost it? Did it fit in with where the company wanted to be long-term? So also then the next thing is implementation of CRM systems. They're customer relationship management systems, and I've implemented and changed several of them over the years, and understand the importance, but also is, if you've got one in there, is it being used to the best of the company? So for example, in charity sector, CRM systems were very much a finance tool. And it was then, actually, it's not, it's a fundraising tool. And it's about how you bring them together, how you bring the two teams together. And actually, can you help some of your other processes? Can you do it? Can it send quotes out? Can it send out invoices for you as well? So you're not doing 2 or 3 different systems. And if you are, is how can they talk to each other? But it's also very much about making sure they're up to date. So if somebody in a sales goes in and wants to have a look, they should be able to see is who spoke to them, are they linked with any other companies, and do they know somebody? Is their husband or wife or partner works somewhere else? And that's the really important thing. So when you go to a meeting, where the wife works, or they've got children, that is that person, and that should be recorded, and it's looking at, actually, and you can usually find it sort of on social media and things, but it's just recording it. You can't record this information in your head, because, as I always say, is if you run over by a bus and you died, sounded awful, that information's gone. It needs to be written down, and you'll easily be replaced, but what you've got to think of is make sure it's there. So even when you're on holiday and somebody phones and a colleague deals with them, they know exactly where you're up to with it. You know who they are, and this is it. So it's about it's a really good way to keep that customer feel important, because you've got all that information. And also, is you don't want a phone call while you're on holiday to ask, some information. Have you contacted them or whatever? So and then it's all about the implementation of a marketing strategy. So for me, as a strategy, I've dealt with quite a few people with marketing strategies, and it's all very top heavy, and you think, very much is the strategy is 2 or 3 paragraphs, if that. It's more about actually how we're going to implement it. So it's all very well having the most amazing strategy, but it's about the implementation and about it actually
doing
happening.
it, isn't it?
Doing it, So for me, as a strategy, is literally very brief at the top, and it's then how are we going to do it, and have a look at it. And for me, that is actually understanding who your clients are, who are your potential clients, and what are you doing, and where do you want to be. It's not just going, all right, okay. It's actually going, who are your competitors? What are they doing? Why are you different to your competitor? What do you need to be saying? It could be that you've got all your staff are fully checked, and nobody else does that. Well, that's a great way to promote that we have all our staff on, sort of checked, and they're all secure. We know that, it could be anything. It could be the smaller things that we do. And we look at sort of, also is yes, it is all about trying to promote your work and promote that, but it's also the other things, like Grosvenor just celebrated the 21st employee, so I organised a cake and we did that and we celebrated it, and then we put it out on social media and said, instead of just going, we've got number 21st, we were like, well, actually, we got some fizz, we got some cake, and it was actually, we celebrated it internally as well, and it the staff felt really important in that. So the marketing is not always just external, it's internal. How can we work them together? You know, because if your staff are happy and they've gone, oh yeah, they're more likely to comment on you on the social media, or they're more likely to share and go, yeah, it was a great day, or this was really good. It's then promoting actually they're a really good company because their staff are engaging with their social media. So that's what I do. Okay.
Very good.
So my current clients at the moment, obviously we've got Grosvenor Insurance Brokers. I've got a dance school, which I'm doing some, she hasn't got a clue, she's trying to do it, and so I'm really advising what we're doing. And she's got a great experience that she went to a dance school and she was bullied and sort of things, and she's very against it now. And that we're kind of eventually got her to tell a story, and we're going to get it on social media sort of to say this is why this dance school's different. She's been there and she wants to not have those for her pupils, but also it's about size. All dancers can be any size, and she says she's very fed up of just saying, oh, you've got to be a size 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it doesn't, it doesn't matter what size you're, as long as you fit and you can do it, it doesn't matter. And then I've started working with a commercial cleaning business, so we're seeing them next week. So they're very different, all want different things. Commercial cleaning, she is going to be the marketing side of it, but it's just going through actually understanding. They don't even know who their main competitors are really, so it's making them think. For the first probably month I'll be working with them, I won't actually be doing any actions. We'll be it'll be a lot of research, it'll be a lot of looking at actually why, asking them, making them understand where do they fit in this whole sector.
Very good.
So if I'm going to just talk about the companies I work with, and this is where we kind of go, so obviously I represent Grosvenor. When I got the chance to go self-employed, I was very much decided that actually from working in the charity sector, I've got quite strong views of how companies should be run and whatever. So I went to speak to Grosvenor, and actually I realised that I like the company. So for me yes, they want to work with me, but it's me also interviewing them. So company started quite recently. They've got offices in Chester and Wrexham. And they employ, we've got over 10 staff now. That's quite odd. So gone up to 21 because we've got consultants and things. The main things that we're seeing is they've got a retention rate over 90%. It was higher, but there's quite a few businesses have closed due to COVID. But the thing that I really liked is they support charities. So they do a lot of charity work they put back. And that's really important to me. So he looks after his staff. He's got flexi working, has got that. And to me, that's really important. If it was somebody who said, no, I don't do charities, they don't really keep many of their customers. Some of the staff aren't happy. I don't get that nice vibe when I walk in. I'm going to turn around and say no, because it's not for me, because that's not me.
Yeah.
So, it is, for me, is very much about actually they're interviewing me, but I'm interviewing them. So,
and also you want to know you've got the freedom to make a difference, I imagine.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I want to know that actually this is what I'm doing. Grosvenor is so involved in so many charities, and I manage all that because that's my expertise. And they want to do a lot of more hospitality, so I'm managing that side as well. And he's like, right, okay. And he said, oh, we've got a table at this, which staff will invite? And I was like, no, we're not inviting staff. We'll have one member of staff per one client. And that, if that client's going, the relevant broker's going. And he's like, I said, because otherwise it's a waste of money. What you can do is just a staff freebie. And which staff do you choose? And so he's kind of, look, I'm thinking, well, actually, you've got to think about this as a very different way. Yes, he's organising a night out, and that's great. But I said, if we're going to entertain, we're going to entertain, and it's the right staff have to be there, and they have to understand, yes, they can drink and they can have a good time, but they're also representing the company. I said,
You're a taskmaster, goodness.
Oh, I know. I think that's from my charity is that, yes, we can have a good time, but you're not going to be thrown up on the floor or doing something because you're representing that company.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, so it's really fun. He was like, oh, okay. I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these that will drink water all night. No way, anyone knows me, that's not me. But there is, when you go out with your mates and you go out with work, I think are very different.
Yeah.
I go out with my mates and I see them. Yeah, I'm the first one to be singing, dancing and everything and making an idiot of myself. Don't get me wrong, but taking 100 selfies because the first one didn't work because I'm too drunk to work out how to use the camera and stuff. But no one will ever see those pictures. But when I'm working and I'm there, yes, I'm having a good time. Yes, I'll be on the dance floor. But I am always very wary that, yes, I'm here representing whoever. So we've had that conversation, and it's just about, actually, it's about reputation. If I'm going to come and work with a company, it's about also is helping you protect your reputation and your brand, because that's, you can't buy that. So it's thinking, actually, yes, if you're taking a client somewhere, they don't want to see all the staff so drunk. You're thinking, well, you're dealing with my insurance, that's not a good thing. So he's like, yeah. So it's just thinking about it, really. I'm thinking, so for me as Grosvenor, I do their sales and marketing. I can talk about sort of the most common types of insurance. But say, for example, Tracy, you said to me, right, okay, can you advise me on what I need? No, I can't, because the broker, I'm not trained.
Yeah.
And that, so I very much go, yeah, and give you the list of insurances that we can offer you. I can do a full fact find, but I can't do any more. I hand it over to a broker. And that's it. And that's as much as I get involved with them. And then I do the full fact, pass it over, and then they take over that relationship. Obviously, if it's somebody I know or somebody I've recommended, I will keep in touch with them, part of the sales process, because again, I don't know who. So, for example, Tracy, if you said you want your insurance, I don't know, say if you had offices, you might need cleaning, you might need something, but also I've got a great knowledge of people. I know quite a lot of people. So it is a case of going, actually, pick the phone up and ring me and say, do you know somebody who can help me with? And that, I'd rather have that than, and so somebody uses somebody that is good, ideally part of the network, that I can say, oh yeah, have you tried so-and-so? So I always like to have a whole list of people that I can refer other business to, because that is what networking is about, referring and helping.
It is.
So that's kind of Grosvenor and that side kind of thing. So if we go on, so my future clients, so Grosvenor, I will be probably with them for another year or so. And then I think they'll want somebody internally to do it full time, which I've made it very clear I don't want to do it. I love being self-employed. So, when I set up, I looked at it. So it's small SMEs that want to grow. So they've either started the business or they're coming to the end of the business and they're looking to retire, but they want to sell a very healthy business. So they got a 5-year plan that I want to sell the business, but it needs to be really, really healthy and it wants to be the best it can be. So if they've got, looking at supporting charities, CSR policy, are the staff happy? Do you give a day off of volunteer? So it's kind of, the business is really healthy. Okay. Also, as business owners who do everything, so they've grown the business and they're doing the sales and the marketing and they're actually doing it and they're doing the accounts and they're doing this, and they're probably not doing anything at a level it should be done. So I'll come in and take the sales and marketing off them and say, right, and they will be control freaks, most business owners are. So it's putting them into a level where we can get the processes in place, we can get everything so they're really, really happy, so they can employ somebody to come in and do it. I'm happy to take stuff over for the short period, but then it's looking at actually how can we grow, how you will need somebody in there, whether it's a different type of agent or another type of consultant, or it's actually employing somebody. And then if it's employing somebody, it's working with the recruitment companies to come in and bring them, and that's it. But also that businesses that are just not growing, stuck in a rut, going, actually, why are we not growing? And come in, look at everything and go, these are the reasons why. And it could be staffing issues, could be anything. So it's just coming in and having a look at it, and I know somebody who does mystery shopping. So it's things like that actually go, we might need a mystery shop to see what's going on, and having a look at it. Very much from the start, I've said one client from each sector. So it is about, I'll only deal with one. So there's no conflict of interest. And again, it goes about putting their clients first. So it's great customers. They're really wanting their customers to have the best experience with them, so they stay with them. Also is how's their staff engagement to the sport charity, to the offer flexi working. So it is about somebody. I don't want somebody who has to have their staff in at 9, and if they're late, they're in trouble, because it just doesn't work. And that's sort of, and they have to know exactly where all their staff are and what they're doing, and they don't trust anyone. I'll walk away. It's not worth the money and my time.
Yeah.
I'd rather be eating baked beans on toast than doing them, but so for me, it is about, I want to deal with people very similar to how I think. So that's what I'm looking for the future. My future is kind of, as I said, Grosvenor will probably be another year or so, and then I think it's going to get bigger and bigger, and they'll probably need somebody in there full time. Whether I stay and take a step back and support that person, I don't know. My idea is that I want sort of 4 or 5 clients that I can come in and go in. So, I still work on a project, the CRM system or their sales processes, and then I keep dipping in and out as and when. I want my husband's a lot older than me, so our long 5-term plan is that he will hopefully reduce his hours as I get busier. He can then take over some of the childcare and the house and everything, and then maybe work with me as well. But the idea is that then I will be able to have my own business and sort of help my husband reduce his hours, because I want him to. So yes, so that's me. Thank you very much. My contact details there, both email addresses. So yeah, shall I stop sharing my screen now?
Brilliant.
I can see
let's
you.
see you back. We can't see you. You're hiding from us at the moment. There you go. Should be asked to start video. So, Abby, let me ask you then, what would be I know you mentioned about, learn from your mistakes, but if you were to give your 16-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
God, if I was 16 again, what would I do? I'd probably follow your gut, follow your kind of instinct. If it's right, I'd probably say, I'm just thinking some of the jobs I've done where I know they're wrong, and I've stuck it out 16 months. So I'd probably say is actually, where's your heart, where's your gut, and you need to follow that. Yeah.
Very good. And I know you're one for camping, aren't you? And getting out and about. So, favourite place that you've camped so far?
Favourite place? I'm trying to think of all the campsites we've been to. I've got to say, I'd probably say it's been the latest one is Norfolk. Absolutely fell in love with it. It's very English. Sort of the pubs close between 3 and 6 p.m. You're like, that's not fun. But it was a very slow way of life. And it was just, very English, very, well, your food will be here when it's here. And I think it's very different from the Wirral and, Chester, which is sort of 100 miles an hour. So I think it's also, as I look at them, it was the very much needed holiday, because we haven't been away since last August. So I think for us, I look at all the other ones we've done, and they've been great, and they've been, oh yeah, we'll go. But this one was like, it's actually happening. It was meant to happen last May and it didn't. So I think it's that.
Yeah.
I think it's ever, and we just needed some threesome time. Not in that way, my husband.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
And tell me, if there was a book you would recommend to everybody to read, what might that be?
it would probably be one I've just finished, and I really want to meet her because I think it's I don't know, it's the Red Shepherdess.
Okay.
Don't know. Right. So she came from New Ferry. So if you know the Wirral, it's not the best area. She moved to Bebbington. So she calls herself a townie. And then she went on holiday and saw some lambs being born and decided she wanted to go into shepherding. Nothing. And I think it's actually, she's now on social media, she's on Instagram, and she's just lovely. But a book is all about becoming very sexist, because it was shepherds was a very male. She's had to learn it. She did lots of volunteering. She really has turned her life around and into something, well, you say it's pivot completely. And I just think maybe because she's from the Wirral, I just can kind of think, actually, I think she's a massive inspiration for the younger generation. I think she's, I think she needs to get out to the young generation and say, you can do it. You can do what you want. So yeah, I would.
Right.
I read
Not heard of that. How did you come across that then?
I don't know. I found her on Insta. She came on Instagram, so she's called the Red Shepherdess because she's got bright red hair. I think I found her on Instagram. I don't know. I found her, and then I realised she'd got a book, and I read the book, and then when I read the book, I liked her even more. Because I didn't. When I found her on Instagram, I didn't really know she was from the Wirral, and I looked into her, and I was like, yeah. And her family have moved. It's just, she went through a bit of a horrible time as a child, but I think, God, she's very family. She's very,
Excellent.
So yes, I'm going to definitely get Chloe to read that book, because I just think it shows you can do what you want.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Lisa, Lynn, have you got any questions at all, or anything you want to say to Abby?
I've just found her on Instagram, that Red Shepherd.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, Lily Bar Lambs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am fascinated how they herd the sheep. You're just like, oh my God. When you look at her and watch her herding the sheep, you think, you never did. You've learned to do that.
But you're right, we can learn to do anything, can't we, if we want to?
Yeah. And I think that's it, yeah.
It's just tapping into, as you say, following your heart.
Yes.
But as she said, do what you love what you do.
Yeah.
And I think we're all in that sort of world where we love the jobs that we're doing, and it's sort of it comes across. And it was just interesting, and well done, Abby, setting up your business. I think it's great. I was late, sorry, because I had to do a quick introduction, and then I was like, oh, I need to go. I need to just get on this call. I wanted to see what you were doing, because obviously I knew that you joined Grosvenor Insurance Broker.
Yeah.
To see a little bit of a sideline, it was like, oh right, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, kind of when I went self-employed, I agreed with Grosvenor that I'd do 6 months or so,
right,
with just them because there was a lot to do, and then 6 months came up, and I said, I want to set this business, I want to do more, and they were like, fine.
Yeah,
they're just sort of, he's just obviously said, don't go to any brokers, don't do sort of things. And then I said, if I think there's a conflict, I'll come and see you. We'll talk about it.
No, absolutely. And we've always said, sort of in our line of work and what you do at the sort of Grosvenor Insurance, there's always going to be a crossover in certain areas, but there's other things that you don't do that we do. And like with your new marketing business now, we don't do any of that. So it's that sort of trust, rapport and respect that you only deal with the inquiry that's given, and vice versa. And it's helping build that long-lasting relationship that you want with the client, that's based on that value that you've added to that relationship, and working together as that professional team for them. I just think is great, and that's certainly what you want to do as well. So and it was interesting to hear that your ethos, if you win business on price, you'll lose it on price. It's the same with us. We want that. We want the client to know the true value of the relationship, and that isn't based on a monetary sort of basis. It's what else do they get from us as their trusted advisors. You know, it might not necessarily be pension advice or anything. It could be, oh, I need to introduce you to Abby. I need to introduce you to Lisa. So it's other things that add value, that there isn't a cost to that.
Yeah.
No, and I agree. You know, it is about, actually, if somebody wants, you know, say Grosvenor, if there is price, we'll go on the internet and buy it.
Yeah.
You know,
There's plenty out there. If that's all they need and that's right for them, then that is the right advice to give them. You know, look, if that's all you need, we're not going to add any more value to that.
No, as myself is, I've not priced myself the cheapest, but I'm not the most expensive. I'm in the middle, and and I'm going to be very true to those prices. Okay, this is it. You know, the dance school, actually, we're doing a bit of, it's actually my daughter's. She approached me and realised what I did and everything, and she's like, but we've kind of done, she's half paying me and I've half reduced my so I've reduced some of my fees and I've reduced some of my dance fees, but it equates to still the full amount.
Yeah.
How I get, you know.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So yeah.
So I haven't got any questions. I was really, you know, interested to hear what you're doing and, you know, sort of spotting opportunities going forward, because, you know, we think the world of you, so we'll look at
thank you.
Work with you, and you know, the events and stuff that you're putting on, then you know, obviously just share and keep in contact.
Lisa?
Well, I just agree with everything that Lynn said, really. You're doing amazing. And
not like you to be lost for words.
I know, I am a bit lost. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's the heat.
It must be. It must be. Yeah, I'm just in awe of you, really, Abby, that you turned everything around from, and you look amazing.
I feel, you know, Lisa, so I know was part of the Action Learning, so she's been through this journey with me from sort of rock bottom to where I am, and I think I am really happy. I am really happy, and you know, I've got, you know, some bad days. I think we all have bad days and good days, but
but it's exciting, you know.
Yeah,
that excitement will get you through the bad days, because it's like, right, refocus and get you know, dust yourself off, go up, get back out there, and you know, get some new clients. Like you say, you know, the follow-up process, you know, okay, you might not have won new business yesterday, but today's another day, and you know, you go again.
You mean we didn't grow? Somebody I know, we put in for their insurance, couldn't get anywhere near what they'd got. They were really, really good, but we got a lovely email back to say thank you very much, really appreciate it, and we were saying, God, you've got really good cover. And she said, oh, it's really nice to know. She says, I'll happily recommend you to other people. And that's because we've dealt with it, and we did a full market exercise with this, and we were transparent. We went, this is it. This is really, we can get you it, but it's double, and you won't get X, Y, and Z in it, and you just stay where you are.
Yeah, right thing to do, and they appreciate that. And they, as you say, either they will come back or they will recommend, because you've
just been honest and transparent. Yeah. Super. Well, thank you very much, Abby. I'm going to draw the recording to a close. So thank you. Very good.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.